Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Wellness Wednesday session. Today, we're going to have a presentation by one of our Senior Planet sponsored athletes. These are individuals aged 60 and above who are excited about fitness and who were chosen by Senior Planet to share their experiences with accomplishing their wellness goals. Today's guest presenter is Senior Planet sponsored athlete Kathy Malloy. Kathy is 73 years old and is an active participant in CrossFit workouts, golf, and pickleball. After receiving a diagnosis of osteoporosis in her late 50s, Kathy started lifting weights to increase bone density and overall strength. And today she's sharing a variety of ways older adults can start exercising to improve muscular, cardiovascular, and mental health. Now, this is Kathy's second presentation to this group. The first was back in July, and she talked to us about quick and easy warm-up and cool-down exercises for low-impact sports like golf and pickleball. So today, Kathy is going to demonstrate these 3 exercises and movements that anyone can do. And I'll give the floor to Kathy. Kathy, you're muted.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, good. Hi, everyone. As Nicole said, I'm Kathy Malloy. I'm a 73-year-old avid CrossFitter. I got into the sport quite unexpectedly when I got the diagnosis of osteoporosis because I'd always been active. I've skied, I golf, I walk. I was very shocked when I got the diagnosis of that. And it was risk for fracture in my lower spine with, and that really scared me. I used to type a lot of medical reports, and I typed a lot of medical reports on osteoporosis and compression fractures, and I just didn't want to go down that path. So my doctor, in addition to the medication, suggested that I try weightlifting. My son, Mike, is a CrossFitter, and I thought I should try CrossFit. I was a little bit nervous because what you see on TV can be a bit intimidating, but I decided to try it anyway and discovered that, they start you off slow. There's different progressions that you go through. You're not immediately lifting heavy weights, and the groups are small, so you get a lot of one-on-one with certified coaches, which made me feel more comfortable and made me feel safe. So into CrossFit I went, and fast forward, 14 plus years, I have successfully stopped the progression of osteoporosis. I can lift heavy weights, and I'm healthier probably than I have been when I got diagnosed in my late 50s. So today, what I want to talk about is 3 activities that I think seniors would get a lot of benefit out of. All right. First one is foam rolling. The second one is going to be CrossFit. And the last one will be water aerobics. All right. So I'll just jump right in. What is foam rolling? Well, basically, it's self-massage with a roller. And I'll show you that. And I'll move this box. I'm going to be on the floor for this. This is a foam roller. All right. It comes in different lengths, different colors, and some even vibrate. All right. What is foam rolling good for? Well, it's good for, our muscles. As we age, we sort of lose the elasticity in our muscles. Our joints ache. And I have found that this is what I do every morning when I get up and get to the gym. I just find that, those achy joints, those tired muscles, the foam rolling seems to help. Foam rolling is basically self-massage using the roller. So what I'd like to do is go through and just demonstrate my process for foam rolling, which I do every day, first thing in the morning. And it just helps me start the day and relieve some of the tension and some of the muscle aches that I always wake up with because I'm almost 74 years old. So There's a great article. I think the link is on the chat. A magazine called Senior Living, and it talks a lot about, the positives of foam rolling. It provides some different movements. These are the movements that work for me, but you can either read the article or go onto Google and find other movements that work better for you. So let's jump right in. And there's areas that you do not foam roll on, all right? Your neck, your lower back, and any of your joints, your knee joint, your hip joint, all right? And bone, because it would really hurt. But what you want to do is massage the muscles and the connective tissue using the roller. And you're in control of the pressure that you want to provide. So when I start with my calves, all right? And I just sit on the floor. I put the roller underneath my calf, right down by just above my ankle joint. And I'm going to roll to just below my knee joint. And I breathe slowly and I go slowly. So it's kind of like breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. You usually should do this for like 10 or 15 seconds. I'm only going to do it for like 3 seconds today because of the time. But then I would go to the outside part of my calf, and just roll slowly. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. I'm going to do the other leg. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Outside calf, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Inside calf, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. If you want to add a little bit more pressure because you feel like you need a deeper massage, put both legs on the roller and do the same thing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. So you can control the amount of massage, whether it's deeper or whether you want to keep it lighter because everything just aches. And then I would move up to my hamstrings. Again, place the roller just above my knee joint, and I'm going to stop just below my hip joint. And again, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. To the other side. And if you have a foam roller, jump right in. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now I want to do the outside of my quads and hamstrings. So I'm going to get onto all fours, all right? And I'm going to put one leg up like this, and I'm just going to kind of lean the side of my leg on that roller, just below the hip joint. And I'm going to roll. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm going to do the other side. Okay, just bring this leg up like so. Lean on it and roll. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now I want to do the front part of my quads. So again, on my knees, I'm going to put that roller just above my knee joint. Get down on my forearms and roll. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now I want to get to the inner thighs, the inside part of the quad. So I'm going to angle my roller like this, and I'm going to go down on my forearms again. That roller will just be above my knee joint, and I'm going to roll. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And we're going to get the other side. Angle the roller. Get down on your forearms and just roll. breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. All right, I got the lower portion done. Now I'm going to work on the upper portion. And I start by just sitting on the foam roller, like so, my butt right on it. And I just give the lower part of my glutes a little bit of a roll. Breathe in, breathe out. I have a psoas muscle that goes right across my left butt. And every now and then it just hurts. So I massage it like so. And over time, that little tight spot in that muscle disappears. So that's really what foam rolling is good for too. If you have any tight spots in certain muscles, it really, really helps a lot. Then when I'm done doing that, I want to get the outside part of my glutes. So I sort of lean back. I put my left leg over my right knee. I kind of lean to the left and I massage the outside portion of my glute. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And sometimes I'll just lengthen the leg and roll. Breathe in. Seems to get more of the glute this way. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And I'm going to do the other side. Again, I'll bring my right leg over my left knee, lean a little to the right, and massage the outside portion of the glute. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And then the last part is I want to get my quads on the front part, all right? So again, I'm on my knees and I just kind of put the roller just above my knee joint, get down on my forearms, and I roll to just above my hip joint. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And again, I'm only doing short spurts of it, but probably 10 to 15 seconds each area. Now I want to get to the inner thigh, the inside portion of the quad. So I angle my roller and I get down on my forearms again, roller just above my knee joint, and I roll. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And I massage the hip crease a little bit because that's where that IT band comes into play. And that IT band does a lot of work. So I just kind of massage that a little bit. And then I do the other side. Angle the roller. Down on my forearms, just above the knee joint. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And I'm just going to get into that hip crease a little and massage that IT band. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. That takes care of the lower portion of me. Now what I want to do is my mid back and my shoulders. And like I said, these are the movements and the massages that really help me start my day. But you can go online and find all different kinds of massage work using a foam roller. So I'm just doing my mid back. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Then I like to just move up to my shoulders and I'll breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And if I want a deeper massage on my shoulders, I raise my arms over my head. Sometimes you can just lie there and it just feels so good. My shoulders get tight a lot. Breathe in, breathe out. All right. That, my friends, is foam rolling. Like I said, I find that as I get older, I need this. I need it more than I did when I was, in my 50s or 60s. Uh, these old bones and muscles just need a little bit more TLC in the morning when I get up out of bed. And it really helps me start the day. I feel better. My muscles feel better. My connective tissue feels better. My circulation is much better. And mentally, I feel better, much better to, start the day in a better frame of mind. All right. So the next topic I'd like to talk about is my favorite. It's CrossFit. And why do I think seniors can do CrossFit? A, it's modifiable, it's scalable. I did not start CrossFit by automatically hitting, heavy weights and things like that. It was a slow but progressive, consistent process that I followed. And I liked it, A, because the coaches are certified. They understand what they're doing, and I felt safe with that. And to me, it minimized the risk for injury. CrossFit will improve your strength, your flexibility. You're going to have better cardiovascular health. It increased my bone density to the point where I no longer have osteoporosis. That was the best gift that I could have gotten for myself personally. I'll always be grateful for the suggestion from my doc about lifting weights because it made a difference. I did other things too. I walked and I improved my nutrition and tried to get better sleep. Those all come into play, okay? But CrossFit for me was a lifesaver in a certain way. The social interaction within the CrossFit community is another huge draw. And what I'd like to do is show you a video, if somebody could cue it up, about this 94-year-old woman. She started CrossFit when she was 89 years old. She's phenomenal. Please cue it up, come back, and then I want to show you some progressions that I did for certain movements to start my CrossFit journey.
The CrossFit community was absolutely blown away when it first met Annie Holmes, a 93-year-old athlete at Auburn CrossFit in Auburn, California. Annie started CrossFit at 89 years old, and 4 years into her journey, she was raving about her positive experiences at her gym. She said she fell in love with the way her body was changing and that she was finding muscles she never knew she had. Staying active and connecting with others were also huge benefits for Annie, and we can't wait to check in to see what she's been up to. And we are welcomed now by Annie Holmes, who is joining us post-CrossFit class. She's given a little bit of energy back in her with some nice, strong coffee. Annie, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Tommy. It's fun to be here.
And so you just mentioned before we were recording that you finished up a CrossFit class this morning. What has been your schedule lately in terms of going to classes and how often you're training?
We have a team called Legends, and it was designed for seniors. I go 4 days a week. It's a big group. There are 17 of us now, but
you did mention that Legends class and the growth of it, and I imagine that maybe there were some seniors that were inspired by your video posting. Was that the case? And if so, how have you been able to see the impact that CrossFit has had on their lives as your Legends class grows?
we got 4 enlistees who saw the video and came because of me. I think our coach Cinnamon started another class just for them, because our class is pretty big. We have to have 2 coaches when they're with us. There's one who was very, very unfit, very overweight, but had a wonderful, wonderful attitude. And we could see her progress. I mean, it was just marvelous to see the little increments every time, a little bit farther she could get. And that was heartwarming.
And speaking of progress, in the video, the initial video, you mentioned, and Cinnamon mentioned that, when you started, you had trouble even just moving and bear crawling a few steps. And obviously, there's been some tremendous improvements since then. So what would you say at this point has been your biggest physical accomplishment? in CrossFit and your biggest mental accomplishment?
I hold the championship on the team for the plank. You know what that is?
That's awesome.
In CrossFit. Nobody has beat me yet. My record is 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and no one has overachieved that.
But on the other side of that, with the mental aspect, what has been the kind of biggest mental accomplishments for you?
Just never say I can't. I've tried to wipe that out of my vocabulary. There's something binding about struggling together with other people. We support each other and we get to love each other. We do a lot of things together outside of the teamwork. And I would like anybody who's at all interested to know that this was a bonus I never expected, and I would never give up. I may give up going to Sunday school, but I will never give up CrossFit.
And that speaks to your community at Auburn CrossFit as well. You kind of touched on it a little bit there about how you guys go do stuff outside of the gym. But, can you speak a little bit to just how supportive they've been for you and your journey?
They gave me a huge birthday party and with a transportable mural that I now have in my bedroom, and all these little messages to me. And the most common one is that I inspire them. And so the feeling is mutual.
Oftentimes we hear people say, I'm too old, I'm not fit enough to start CrossFit. And you're living proof that that's not the case. So what would you say to someone who maybe has that thought in their head that they can't start it yet? Or maybe someone who's trying to get their grandparents or parents into CrossFit?
I just, I get so much out of it. It's a whole social life, and they're like family too. It's not more than friendship. We've seen each other cry. We've seen each other in pain. We've seen each other frustrated because some of the things, some of the workouts are modified for each of us because we each have some kind of physical challenge. Everything I try, I am getting a little better every day, which is not your ordinary nonagenarian experience.
I think the hope is that as more people get to see your journey and get to see your improvement and your progress, we can start to normalize that through more people taking on that journey themselves and hopefully finding the same benefits for sure.
I would like to say, if you're a senior and you're thinking this is not for you, you are in for a big surprise. Whatever you think you can't do is going to surprise you, because you will find people saying all around you, saying, you can do it, you can do it. We will you to do this. And you'll say, how can I let them down?
Well, Annie, that's a phenomenal message, I think, to wrap things up on. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me a little bit. I think I speak for everyone when I say that seeing your story has inspired us as well to get back in the gym. I know personally I'm going to go start working on my planks now. We wish you the best of luck in your journey and hopefully get to check in with you soon.
Isn't she remarkable? She is so inspiring. I'm not so sure I would have had the courage to start CrossFit at 89 years old. She truly is an inspiration. So what I want to do going forward now is show you some of the progressions that I needed to do early on to get where I am today. And I'm still a work in progress. So the first movement I'm going to show you is the squat, right? It's probably one of the most important movements that you'll make because it's the basic foundation for a lot of CrossFit movements or even functional fitness. And why do we need to learn how to squat? Well, getting up out of a chair or off of a box is a squat. Getting off the toilet is a squat, all right? We need to be able to, move. So squats are very important. If they get our legs nice and strong, they get our core good and strong. And that's what we need to stay active and be able to stay mobile, really. So what did I get introduced to when I first started CrossFit? the squat being one of the movements they wanted to show me. And what were some of the progressions? Well, they started me off on boxes, all right? I started with a 24-inch box, and all they had me do was sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. I would do 10 repetitions of those, all right? Get some rest, and then they would have me do 2 more sets of 10 repetitions like that, all right? That went on for a while. Just, I had other exercises involved, but primarily I was strengthening my legs, my core, all right? And once I got proficient at that, they moved me to a 20-inch box. And then they changed it up a little bit by having me do what they call touch and goes. Touch and go, stand up. Touch and go, stand up. Touch and go, stand up. Again, 3 sets, 10 repetitions. And we did that for days, weeks, and months because I was pretty out of shape. All right. So then after the 20-inch box, they graduated me to a 16-inch box. All right. And again, touch and goes. Touch and go. Touch and go. All right. And over time, it took a while, but after a while, I was able to go into a squat, and I could even hold it for like 30 seconds. So it was so gratifying because I felt myself getting stronger. I was gaining the confidence. They were progressing me at a rate that I felt comfortable with, and most importantly, I felt safe. And that, to me, is the beauty of CrossFit, all right? You can progress at your own speed, your own capabilities, and if you have certain issues, they can adapt most anything so that you can continue to get stronger and stay mobile, all right? Now, the next movement I want to show you is the push-up. When I first started, I could not do a push-up, all right? So again, they started me off slow. And if you can imagine this post being a rig, all right? I'm on a wall. My arms are straight, all right? And I would just try and touch my nose to the wall and straighten up. Touch my nose to the wall, straighten up. Touch my nose to the wall and straighten up. I would do it on a wall, but I didn't want my back to be to you, so I used this post for demonstration. Now, over time, okay, they moved me to a rig that had a bar on it like this. And again, I would just angle my body a little bit and try and touch my chest to the bar, straighten up. Touch my chest to the bar, straighten up. Touch my chest to the bar, straighten up, all right? And as time went on, they would lower the bar, all right? And I was getting stronger, my legs were getting stronger, my core, my arms, my shoulders were getting stronger. And then they had me do push-ups off of a box, 24-inch, all right? Chest to the box, chest to the box, chest to the box. And then I graduated to the 20-inch box and the 16-inch box. So again, it took time and needing to be consistent. I mean, I couldn't go, 1 week and skip 2 weeks. I went pretty regularly, all right? And all along that line, I'm strengthening my legs, I'm strengthening my core. So it allowed me to do a lot of things. Now, I'm still 73 years old, so I can't pump out a lot of push-ups, but I can get down on the floor, and some of them, depending on the day, you can raise your knees, do some push-ups, all right? And if it's a real, if my shoulders are really tired, I can get down on the floor, raise my hands off the floor to give some relief to my shoulders, and then do a push-up, down to the floor, raise my hands off the floor, do a push-up. So the progression fit me, and I really got so much gratification out of seeing the slow but steady progress of all these movements that I'm showing you today, all right? So what about another movement? Well, let's talk about the lunge. Now, what is a lunge? Why do we need to do lunges? I'll demonstrate a lunge. It's basically you touch your knee to the floor, you stand up. Touch your knee to the floor, stand up. Why do we need to learn how to do a lunge? Well, we climb stairs, we climb hills, we may like to walk in the woods and it's uneven and a little hilly. So we still need to, get some conditioning into those leg muscles in our core. So how did I start off? Well, in the beginning, there was no way I was getting my knee to that floor, all right? But I started slow and I would do the best I could. And I'm using the PVC pipe for balance. And then I would do the next one, all right? And over time, they had me walking with my PVC pipe. I think Annie showed you that, all right? And that's great for balance, all right? And then once I got confident with that, they took my PVC pipe away and they had me doing walking lunges, right? Which is still great for my balance. That's one of the things that we struggle with as we get older is balance. So any kind of movement that we can do to improve our balance is really, really helpful. So the next movement I want to show you is called a push press. And basically, I use my PVC pipe. All right. It's usually at your shoulders like this, and then you push it up over your head. That's a push press. Now, if I were to substitute that PVC pipe, I'm going to use my backpack, but pretend this is a suitcase. We're on an airplane and we're trying to push that bag over our head to put it in that overhead bin, right? Push and put it in that overhead bin, right? Push presses are important if you want to put something on that very top shelf in your closet, right? So push presses are going to be really handy, particularly if you do a lot of travel, all right? And you're getting on and off planes, all right? And if you get strong enough, you can impress a lot of people putting that suitcase in the overhead bin all by yourself. And they will be impressed, believe me. So how did I progress with the push press, all right? I started with very light dumbbells, right? And I would just place them on my shoulder like this, push over my head, push over my head, right? And like I said earlier, there's other activities that we would do during the CrossFit workout. So if my legs were, say, tired from doing squats, I could sit down, and continue working on my push presses, And if both arms aren't good enough, you're just tired, one arm, alternate, push press, right? Same benefit, you're still strengthening your core, your shoulder, your arms, and as time went on, you graduate to heavier weights. And you do the same thing. All right? So push presses, again, providing us the opportunity to stay independent, mobile, and continue to enjoy life. So that takes care of the push press. The last one I want to show you is the pull-up. And I have to admit, I still can't do a strict pull-up, all right? It's just one of those things that I've struggled with and I continue to struggle with, but I am making progress. So how did I progress with pull-ups? Well, again, they wanted me to use ring rows. All right, and I'm just going to move this box. And basically, I felt a little bit unstable, because they move. And all they wanted me to do was to go back like that, straighten my arms, and stand back up. But in the beginning, that made me a little nervous. So what they did is they started me on the bar again and again. It was higher, but I could go down and pull myself up, go down and pull myself up. And over time, I got comfortable using the ring rows. All right. And then it was self up, pull yourself up. And as you got stronger, you can see that my body is almost angled where it's parallel to the floor. I hope to graduate to what they want me to do next is, all right, I'm going to stand on a box. My arms will be above the bar. I strengthen my arms and I jump and I get my chin over the bar. Kind of crouch, jump, and push my chin over the bar. I'm a work in progress. But hopefully, at some point, I really hope to be able to do a pull-up, all right? That's my goal. So, those are some of the basic movements. We do a lot of cardio, respiratory, endurance, and how do we do that? We run if we can run, we walk. And if that's still a little difficult for arthritic knees like mine, I'll get on a bike and I'll just bike, or I'll get on a rower and I'll row, all right? Now, again, in the beginning, being terribly out of shape, pedaling on a bike or rowing on the rower, I was lucky to get maybe a minute in before I was huffing and puffing. But over time and learning the appropriate technique and pacing myself, breathing, all right, I can row, I can bike for 5 or 10 minutes. I love rowing. So sometimes I'll take the rower outside the gym when it's a nice day, and I'll just row there for 20 or 30 minutes and enjoy the beautiful weather. All right. In addition to some of these movements, all right, we also have accessory work where we do kind of do some exercises that are directed toward a certain part of our body, like our arms. And this is another great exercise, particularly if you do a lot of traveling. You go into the airport, and sometimes you have to pick up those suitcases. These are kettlebells. Well, again, you're in a squat position, you pick them up. Your core is tight, your abs, your legs, your shoulders, and you walk like this. I see a lot of people walking like that, and all they're doing is putting a lot of stress on their lower back. So some of these accessory exercises that we do, they really fit for functional day activities like carrying suitcases in the airport. I know they have rollers, but that pushing and pulling needs to be done appropriately. So again, we don't stress out muscles that just weren't built for that, like our lower back. And if it's just one suitcase, I see a lot of people like this. Stand tall, tighten that core, and walk with that suitcase. All right. Let your skeletal structure take on that weight rather than just your arm. All right. So that takes care of my favorite subject, CrossFit. We can do it. If Annie can do it, we can do it. So the last movement or activity that I want to show you is water aerobics. All right. What is water aerobics? Well, basically, it's exercises that we do to help us with our cardiorespiratory, our endurance, as well as, strengthen our muscles. All right. The beauty of water aerobics is it's low impact. We lose some of the impact that gravity has on our joints, our body, when we're in the water, it creates a certain amount of buoyancy. So if you have arthritic knees, fibromyalgia, or other things that just cause achy muscle joints, doing some of these exercises in the water is more beneficial. All right. So we can do a lot of things. And the example I like to use, because if you travel and you've been to some of these fancy, resorts, they have something called a lazy river. You typically go down this lazy river on a raft. But if you were to step in and start walking against the current, all right, you're creating resistance. You're, providing some exercise for your cardiorespiratory system, and you're getting stronger in the process. So what I'd like to do, because I don't have a pool here, is show you another video. It's less than 5 minutes. And this individual is just going to walk you through some of the exercises that can be done in a pool. So if somebody could please cue that up, I'd appreciate.
Greetings, Aqua Nation. I recently posted the Aqua X Core workout on the Fit Motivation website, and I referenced this video as an example of a basic warm-up you can do with that workout. This basic warm-up features basic moves that I do in just about every class that I teach, shallow and deep, and I'm almost embarrassed to admit that I do the same warm-up in all of my classes. It includes basic moves and also serves as an active stretch. Here's how. When you include jogs in your warm-up, you're doing a high knee lift that stretches out your gluteus. When you do leg curls or high heel jogs, you're stretching out your quadriceps. When you do ankle reaches, you're stretching out your hip. When you do longer kicks, you're stretching out your hamstring. When you do cross-country skis, you're stretching out your hip flexors. And when you do jumping jacks, you're stretching out your inner thigh. It doesn't get more basic than that. I usually hold on to each of the moves for about 2 or 3 cycles of music, or I do them all in a row for several cycles of music so that it lasts about 5 minutes or 1 full song. Let's get to the pool and see what a basic aqua warm-up looks like.
Welcome to a basic aqua warm-up. This is a warm-up I use in most of my classes. You can do it deep or shallow. We're doing a high knee jog right now, a high knee jog. By bringing your knee up high, you're stretching out your glutes as you perform that high knee lift or high knee jog. You could add the upper body in as you bring your arms forward and back. You're stretching out your upper back and your chest as you perform a high knee jog. You could sweep one arm, stretching out your posterior deltoid and your tricep as you do that high knee jog. And then you could switch it to the other arm, stretching out posterior deltoid and tricep. And then from the high knee jog, we're going to switch into a high heel jog. Now with our heel coming behind us, we're stretching out our quadriceps, performing a nice high heel jog, stretching out quadriceps. You can see those heels coming behind. And as they come behind, the front of your thigh is stretching. Here you could add arm movements like I'm doing if you want to stretch out the upper body. And then from there, we're going to go to an ankle reach, an alternating ankle reach. You can see the leg coming toward and into midline. That is stretching out your hip. As you do that ankle reach, as you sweep your leg in, you're giving your hip a little bit of a stretch. So far we've done a high knee jog, a high heel jog, and these ankle reaches. Get ready because we're going to be switching up and adding a fourth movement. We're going to go right into bigger kicks. These bigger kicks, as you lift your leg forward, are stretching out the back of your leg. They're stretching out your hamstring. So what we're doing here is we're warming up by doing basic movements, but we're also doing an active stretch. So as you kick in your warm-up, you're actively stretching out your hamstrings. Now get ready, we'll switch it to another move here. The next move is just a basic cross-country ski. Legs going front to back. As those legs open and go to the back, you're stretching out your iliopsoas or your hip flexors as you perform that cross-country ski. So these basic moves are warming you up, but once again, they're also acting as an active stretch for your muscles. We're going to switch this off and we'll do one last move. And that last move is a jumping jack. As those legs go out, you're stretching your inner thigh, stretching out your inner thigh. So what we did is very simple. We just put base moves together to serve as a warm-up and an active stretch. In my classes, I would go through several cycles of music doing these moves. In a video today, I'm not going to go through that many cycles. I like a warm-up to last at least 5-6 minutes. It's usually about the length of an entire song. So there you have it. That was basic moves forming a very basic aqua warm-up for your classes.
My sister Connie was a water aerobics instructor for many, many years. She's since retired, but it was phenomenal. Whenever I went to visit her in Massachusetts, I would go to her water aerobic classes, and let me tell you, it's a good workout. It's a fun workout, and then when you wake up the next morning, you feel like, oh my goodness, I have used some muscles, but it was a good feeling. I felt like I had gotten a very good workout. So water aerobics, I think, is another activity that seniors would get a lot of benefit from, particularly if you have joint issues or arthritis or etc. So that completes my 3 activities that I wanted to demonstrate today. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them if I could.
Hi, Kathy. This is Johnny from Senior Planet. I joined a little late. Thank you for being here with us with this presentation. Before Nicole left, she did share with me some questions that came into the chat room a little bit earlier. So I'd like to start with those questions.
Okay.
We have a participant named, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Ceylon or Silent. He asked, hard on shoulders. This was for the first demonstration with the foam roller. They seemed it was a little bit hard on shoulders. Is there a modification to calf rolling?
Yes, there's lots of modifications. Like I like to use a roller, but you could use a tennis ball and just focus on a certain area of the shoulder. Some folks like even a deeper massage than what the roller can provide, and they'll use that hard lacrosse ball. And I believe the article that is in the chat that talks about foam rolling does provide other movements that you can do with a foam roller that focus on the shoulders. And if that doesn't do it, Google it. Google is my friend. You can find out anything on Google.
Excellent. And that might be helpful for these other questions about the foam rollers. Betty asked, where can you purchase foam rollers? Somebody else shared in the chat room that Amazon has some. But then also, Adrian asked, what density of foam roller could you start with or should you use?
That's getting a little technical, but as far as I know, I've tried a number of different foam rollers, and they feel like the same bit of hardness, all right? But again, you can moderate that by how much pressure you put on. If you just need light pressure, then you don't press down on that foam roller as much until your body gets used to that kind of massage. So you control how much pressure you want to provide.
Okay, excellent. And it looks like Al asks, has Kathy figured out the reasons for her morning wake up muscle joint aches?
I'm old. I'm old. I do a lot of activities. I do CrossFit every day. And I may play some pickleball, and I do yoga. So sometimes I probably overdo a little bit. So when I wake up in the morning, my muscles are telling me, you've done too much. Stop it. But the foam rolling really helps. say, undo the over exuberant activities that I've been doing. Like I said, it's 10 to 15 seconds on each portion of my body, but sometimes if I feel like I need more, I do more. A foam roll session could go 30 minutes or more, depending on how you feel. If it feels good, continue doing it.
Okay, excellent. And then Sherry was wondering if you could maybe explain a little bit more what CrossFit is. I know Dave shared a video, Sherry, in the chat room, so that is also there available.
CrossFit is it's technically it's called high intensity interval training. In a nutshell, it takes cardiorespiratory stuff. It takes some strength work like weightlifting. It takes rowing. It takes, certain Olympic lifting like the push press. And they combine it into what they call a workout of the day. So you're getting a whole body workout. Sometimes when you go to, say, Planet Fitness or a Gold's Gym, you only focus on the machines or the equipment that you feel comfortable with. But you're not getting a whole body workout. With CrossFit, your whole body is being worked on. There may be a focus, say, with the squats, if there's a lot of squats. There's more focus on your quads and your hamstrings, etc. But the entire process covers every aspect of your body. And it's modifiable, but every day that workout is different. That's the beauty of CrossFit. It's constantly varied. Every day, they create these workouts that involve strength, what they call a Metcom, which is a workout either doing, dumbbell snatches and, riding on the bike for so many calories, et cetera, and then jumping off and doing another round of that. But it's constantly varied. Every day you're doing something different, which I think is great because it never gets boring. And it does cover all aspects of your body over the course of how many days that you go. I go 5 days a week.
Excellent. Okay, and then also Bobby, and I guess Adrian also had a similar question. Can people with bad knees that may be needing replacement, do these exercises? And I think they're referring to the bar exercises and the foam roller exercise.
Yeah, again, with the foam roll exercise, again, you're not foam rolling your knee joint or your hip joint. You avoid those areas. You're massaging, say, the calf muscles or the hamstring. When I was demonstrating, I would start the demonstration above the knee joint and go to just below the hip joint. If it was the calf work, it was just below the knee joint to just above the ankle joint. You never want to foam roll on your joints or your neck or your lower back. Those areas that, could be harmful in certain respects.
Okay, great, Kathy. Thank you so much. And then a few newer questions just popped in. Pat asks how can you find CrossFit classes or a CrossFit gym here in Orange County, California?
I would Google it for your
I'm assuming,
zip code. And then you could go and visit that particular gym. I don't know where Annie lives in California, but she's someplace in California. And that sounds like a really fantastic gym that she goes to. But that's what I would do. I would just kind of Google, find out what CrossFit gyms are near you, pay a visit to them, talk with them, explain your physical capabilities or, what needs to be adapted for your ability, et cetera. And when you start CrossFit, I mean, you don't just jump right in. There's what they call an onboarding process where you come in for, say a couple of weeks, a couple of times a week, and they assess your capabilities. How fit are you? And they adapt a program that works for you within that time frame. And, once they feel comfortable that, you're strong enough, you join a class. I was probably, the onboarding process that I took was 2 weeks. And at the end of 2 weeks, I was able to join, the 8 o'clock class. But again, I adapted a lot of things for my capability at that time, my strength, etc. So if somebody was, lifting, say, a 200-pound deadlift, I was probably just lifting a 35-pound barbell, deadlifting that. So, but I was getting the same kind of challenge, and it worked. So again, progression is probably the best word I could use to demonstrate that you're not going to jump right in and start lifting heavy weights. They want to assess your capabilities and what needs to be adapted to.
Okay, and then a couple of more questions. Maybe the fact that that CrossFit has an onboarding process. Judy Morris asks, are the CrossFit instructors taught how to modify for health conditions like heart conditions?
Yes.
Would that be involved in the onboarding?
Yes. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I have a very good friend who has a serious heart condition, and he does CrossFit, but they adapt to his capabilities.
Okay, great.
And he loves it.
Awesome. And then one last question I see in the chat room. Lori K asks, how much has your bone density increased since doing CrossFit? And do you take any bone medicine like Prolia?
No, I do not. And I'm no longer osteoporosis. I have osteopenia, which is typical for somebody my age. But I no longer have osteoporosis. I'm no longer on the medication. And the only thing that I take is a calcium supplement. That's it.
Well, thank you so much, Kathy. Dave, I see your hand raised. Anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, Kathy's prepared this handout with the links, and this will be on my webpage this afternoon. So I'll put that link and my contact information into the chat. If you want to get a copy of the chat, you can send me an email and I will send it to you. So I'll put my contact information.
Dave, what's your webpage? What's your webpage? What is your webpage?
Yeah, I'm going to put that. I'll put that into the chat here in just a second. Okay. And let's give Kathy a huge thank you. This was wonderful.